Okay, good afternoon. This is Debbie Davis. It is April 14th. Okay, so we've had this situation where, it's the Masons. It's the Masons in South Dakota. Okay, they have had they have a reputation for trying to steal people's deeds. Okay, they've before this guy. I'm gonna tell you the story. I've told the story before. Um, of something that happened in Long Lake. That's one of the reasons why I got freaked out years ago living there, because of a death that happened to a neighbor. Um, okay, this was so. First of all, I have an illegal warrant for my arrest and a legal charge, and they won't drop it. I've tried to deal with this for years. I've tried dealing with the Attorney General. I've tried dealing with on a federal level. We have a federal lawsuit pending. They won't let us take it to court. So now we got all the judges involved and the courts involved for not allowing us. We paid $400 to try to file a lawsuit against McPherson County, the people in McPherson County who have been illegally putting false charges on people. And then what they do is they're trying to make it so I can't go back to my property. So then they're going to try to steal my property. This is what they did to Jimmy Kolb. This guy was murdered in Long Lake, South Dakota. He was my neighbor. Okay, house fire in Long Lake kills a 64-year-old man. It won't even say his name. His name was Jimmy Kolb. He was my neighbor, and he was my friend out there that was helping me with different things when I first moved there. And he had they were always harassing him in that area, and then he had something where he had several different deeds of property at a pretty large amount of land there, and one of the deeds somehow got illegally transferred into somebody else's name there, but he was just like, he didn't know how to fight that type of thing. Most of us wouldn't, because this shouldn't be happening. But what they're doing there, these Masons in South Dakota, is what they did to him is they illegally transferred part of his land into somebody else's name, and you could clearly see that it wasn't signed by him. It was forged. Okay, so they can forge. This is what it's called, a land grab or whatever, this type of thing. This is happening in South Dakota. There was some women that had a bunch of like a mine that had been given, that had been that they were owners of because it was transferred down to them by their father or something like that, and they illegally got pushed out of their land. This was in the Black Hills area for pennies on the dollar. This was happening because there's a lot of mineral rich land in South Dakota, so they're after the minerals. And so I'm concerned now that the plan is they're trying to make it. They've tried to make it so literally so I can't go back there. And now what they've done to people in the past is they murder them. Jimmy Kolb got murdered, and then somehow all of his keys to all of his property and his safe that he had in his bedroom, because I was friends with him, somehow all of that ended up in the sheriff's office in perfect condition. Okay, so Sheriff Dave Ackerman somehow had all of his keys before the fire. So I mean, how does that happen? So that means there's some kind of premeditated thing going on here. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. Okay, then so because there wasn't a will. Everything went into state probate. So then the sheriff and all of his Mason buddies got to get a piece of all of the property. You see how this works? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out their motive. And I believe that that's the same motive that they have with me. They're trying to make it, so I can't even send mail out there, trying to make it so I can't go out there. Next thing they're going to try to do is try to steal my property. Or they've tried to kill me. It's multiple times. They were trying to arrest me in South Dakota for a wrongful charge, and illegally have me come back to their unmarked vehicle, which I wouldn't, and I had to literally call 911 and get somebody on the phone to protect me from my own sheriff. Okay, so this is the criminal activity that's being allowed to happen in South Dakota. And they have a reputation for stealing a bunch of the Lakota people's property. So this was like in 1980, awarding the Sioux Nation $106 million, because of illegally seized territory. Oh yeah, who do you think is doing this type of thing? The Masons in South Dakota. It's always the Masons. The secret society there, the Masons. Okay, they like to steal the Indian land. They've been doing this illegally to the Indians for years. They're trying to, this has been going on like a fighting with the Lakotas for years. Native Americans refusing to take a buyout for they're always like in a fight with these Lakotas. The court awarded the tribes a settlement of $120.5 million. Okay, this is like there's like battles been going on with them and the Masons there for years because they illegally seized their land. And this is so what's going on now is, of course, like, they realize that this land has a lot of mineral valuable land. It's I believe what they're trying to do is try to somehow make it so I can't go back there, then try to steal my property. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what these dumb Masons are doing. It's all an illegal secret society. They think they're so smart, but I mean, it's always the same game, and they've done this to multiple people. There is something called a land grab going on all over the Black Hills, and they've did it to these older ladies who owned some kind of a copper mine or something in the Black Hills, and they were forced off their land and given literally just pennies on the dollar. And they were forced to sell, and this was what was happening years ago. And then it's been happening to multiple other owners, and you don't know how to protect your property. So this is what I'm concerned of now, is that these tactics that they've used in the past. This battle with me and these Masons there has gone on since 2018. Okay, so. They're so dangerous there that I've had to stay away for my own safety. That's how dangerous they are. Okay. And then on top of it, not only will they kill people, they get away with murder there, but then they steal their properties. So, not only are they murderers and they're stealing people's property, but, I can't even send mail out there without it getting tampered with, which is, anybody can look up this law, because I was just on the phone with that lady from the post office. Okay, anytime under federal law, anytime you take or move mail from an intended delivery location, it's considered a felony offense. Okay, I didn't have a current mail forwarding. That woman committed a felony against me, and she needs to be charged. Why do we keep playing games here? This is criminal things happening against us, and we can't play any games anymore. These are a bunch of criminals. Why would I possibly send mail and pay for it just to come back? Anytime, maybe these postmasters need to be relearned about the law, because clearly they don't know the law. Anytime you take or move mail from an intended delivery location, it's considered a felony. So maybe you should learn your job, Angie. Okay? This is a felony offense, okay? I'm not playing any games here. We can't play any games anymore. These are massive crimes being committed by these Masons and the CIA, these secret societies, and we have to wake up to their very serious crimes that they're committing against all of us. Okay.